Hi, everyone. Pull up a chair. I'm truly glad we're back here in the studio for another PMP and CAPM certification session. We're officially on predictive question 19, ethical integrity in project leadership. Now, in our last session, episode 18, we mastered managing resistant stakeholders who disrupt technical progress. But what happens when the blast radius isn't external, but an internal technical failure that absolutely torpedoes the baseline, right? Today, we address a foundational pillar of the project management profession, ethics and social responsibility. Our objective is to evaluate the technical requirement for transparency. Throughout this series, from the formal authorization of the project charter in episode 15 to the strict boundary management we explored in episode 17, we've emphasized governance. But leadership is not only about managing schedules and budgets, it is about maintaining a standard of unbreakable integrity, especially when things go horribly wrong. I'll be totally honest with you. Early in my career, I had a junior developer accidentally drop a critical database table right before a massive client milestone. My first, panic-driven instinct, fix it quietly over the weekend and, pretend it never happened. It's the classic savior complex trap. But I quickly learned that if I hid that defect, I wasn't protecting my team. I was actively poisoning the client's trust and destroying the project's governance. In a high-rigor professional environment, the response to a technical failure is a defining moment for a project manager. We must navigate the intense, high-stakes collision between dodging short-term pain and upholding the long-term, ironclad stewardship of the organization's mission. In this episode, you will learn how to handle these high-stakes technical failures with absolute professional integrity. Now, look right here at the screen with me. Look at these 4 columns on the board. This is our roadmap for today's focus. Column A, the ethics of disclosure, will separate proactive honesty from passive silence. Column B, status manipulation. We'll learn why hiding a defect is a strict violation. Column C, issue versus risk classification. We will map the difference between current problems and future uncertainties. And column D, the PMI ethical mindset. We will demonstrate how raw transparency anchors your governance model. Those 4 focus areas will guide us as we evaluate the scenario. Let's see what we've got. Imagine you and I are sitting across the desk steering a mission-critical IT integration project. You unearth a massive, buried technical error made by a team member. This accidental time bomb has the potential to derail the project's schedule baseline by several grueling weeks. Think back to the rigorous performance metrics of earned value management we mastered in episode 11. A delay of this magnitude shatters your SPI, your Schedule Performance Index, which measures how efficiently you are using time on the project. Look, the error was hidden in the shadows, and the panicked team member expresses severe fear regarding the professional blowback if the issue is disclosed to the client. So, according to global project management ethical standards, what is your required immediate action? Take a moment, look at these options. Option A, delay disclosure to see if the client identifies the error independently. Option B, disclose the mistake transparently to the client and initiate a recovery plan. Option C, disregard the error and attempt to recover the schedule without reporting. Or option D, record the mistake as a future risk in the risk register. Now, look at these 4 options. One of them demonstrates the ultimate standard of professional integrity. The others are variations of status manipulation or fear-based logic. Which one is your immediate priority? Take a moment, choose the right option, and write it in the comments section below explaining why you chose it. Think about the ethical mindset. The clock starts now. Let's look at option A together. Option A suggests delaying disclosure to see if the client identifies the error independently. A lot of candidates fall into the trap of thinking, well, if I don't lie directly, I'm not being unethical. That is a massive misconception. Ask yourself, is silence truly golden when the project's baseline is on the line? Absolutely not. This is a severe breach of professional ethics. Remember, on the exam, passive disclosure, which means only revealing the truth when forced or asked directly, is always a violation of your duty of honesty. See, in a high-rigor environment, transparency is a requirement, not an option. Withholding information regarding a significant project delay is dishonest and ultimately damages the organization's reputation and technical credibility. But if waiting is professional suicide, does that mean you must confess immediately? Now, option B involves disclosing the mistake transparently to the client and initiating a recovery plan. This path centers on the theory that ethical leaders must stand as unwavering beacons of honesty and integrity, even under fire. The logic here is that by ripping the Band-Aid off and disclosing the issue proactively, a manager protects the project's governance because, say it with me, transparency is a requirement, not an option, right? Just like we learned in episode 13 with the formal change control process, hiding a defect creates, fatal risks, whereas this option suggests that raising the issue transforms a crisis into a stage for professional resilience through a recovery plan. But is this the required immediate action? Let's evaluate the remaining options. Well, option C is disregarding the error and attempting to recover the schedule without reporting. You might think, I'm just being a good shield for my team, protecting them from the fallout. That's another dangerous misconception. What happens when the truth inevitably surfaces? This isn't protection, this is project sweeping under the rug. Hiding a known issue is considered status manipulation and is a strict ethics violation. It blinds the organization, crippling its ability to perform an accurate impact analysis, and aggressively violates the core principles of truthfulness and stewardship. This toxic approach almost always snowballs into a catastrophic, spectacular failure later in the life cycle, ultimately turning satisfied clients into the very resistant stakeholders we learned how to manage in episode 18. But is there a way to salvage the timeline without detonating your professional reputation? Option D suggests recording the mistake as a future risk in the risk register. This is technically inaccurate, and it's one of the most common traps on the entire exam. Candidates frequently confuse risks with issues simply because both sound, bad. Lean in for a second and flag this for your notes. A risk is an uncertain future event. Since the error has already occurred and is impacting the project now, it is an issue. An issue is a current problem that requires immediate action and must be tracked in the issue log, not the risk register. Recording it as a risk is a method of downplaying its current reality and is factually incorrect. So if passive silence is a breach and downplaying it is a failure, what is the only move left on the board that protects your career? The analysis is complete. Now, before I reveal the final analytical path, I want to hear from you. You've seen the terrain, you've heard the technical walkthroughs. Which option are you committing to? Right now, go down to the comment section below, write your chosen option, and this is the most important part, the rationale for why you believe it's the professional move. I'll be down there responding to your logic. Ready? The correct answer is option B. The PMI mindset mandates that ethical leadership requires unbreakable honesty and radical transparency, especially when staring down brutal technical failures. Remember episode 14 on developing the project management plan? You cannot build a bulletproof integrated plan on a foundation of poisoned, falsified data. After all, how can you demand accountability from your team if you lack the courage to own your own failures? By stepping into the light, disclosing the mistake transparently to the client, and initiating a recovery plan, the project manager fulfills their professional responsibility and proves once again that transparency is a requirement, not an option. Let's bring it all together. Look back at our recap points on the screen. Point 1. Delaying disclosure to see if the client identifies the error independently is a passive breach of your duty of honesty. Point 2. Disregarding the error and attempting to recover the schedule without reporting is blatant status manipulation that blinds the organization. Point 3. Recording a past mistake as a future risk in the risk register is a severe classification failure. And finally, point 4, disclosing the mistake transparently to the client and initiating a recovery plan. This is your ethical mandate, because transparency is a requirement, not an option. Absolute honesty before optics, every single time. Excellent work today. Shake my hand. You've shown that leadership's about the discipline to follow formal ethical protocols, the moral backbone of project governance, right? Remember the technical journey we mapped together in Episode 2? Maintaining transparency is your gateway to success. Before you go, just remember our core rule from today. Never compromise your integrity for short-term project optics. Honesty is the foundation of professional leadership. I'm proud of your commitment today. In Episode 20, our final session of this series, we'll examine the vital distinction between leadership and formal authority. I'll see you right there.